Hello everyone, welcome you all in this session. Myself, Assistant Professor Ripal Gupta from LJ School of Law. Today we'll discuss the subject of law of torts, and which we are going to discuss on the topic of extinguishment of liability in tort. Now, what is extinguishment? When you are extinguish your right to file a case against law of tort. That means tort happened, but you lose the right for the action against the tort. That is extinguishment of liability in tort. Now let's understand this topic in detail. In certain situations, when you committed tort or someone has committed tort, but you cannot file action against that tort, or no one can file action against you because the right to file action against tort has been, you lose the right for that filing the case. That is called extinguishment of liability. But there are certain situations when you can do that. The first situation is death of the parties. So that is a maxim, actio personalis moritur cum persona, which says this: if the person dies, his personal right of action dies with him. So when the person against whom you have filed the case and that person dies, so you also lose your right against that person. That is the maxim says. But it has two situations: when the petitioner who filed the case is died and the defendant who filed the case died. So we'll see the first situation. The death of the person against whom tort was committed. So here we see the petitioner's way. When petitioner dies, the person who has filed the case against the law, against the act of tort, and he died. So in the case of, if A files a case against B for his tortious action, and if A dies, then the rights of A also dies with him. So here the law of tort right would not be raised by A because he is no more. So here the extinguishment of tortious liability, because the person against whom tort was committed is no more. So the same way the action cannot be raised against Mr. B. But this maxim has exception too in India. In India there are certain acts where the legal representative of the person who died can ask his right. So we have the act, the Legal Representative Suit Act 1885, where the legal representative of person who died, who filed action against tort, his legal representative can file a case and they can ask the right on behalf of them. So if A died during the proceeding, his legal representative can file the case and can seek compensation from the court. Apart from this act, we have many acts where the legal representative of any deceased person can ask the right from the court. These are the Fatal Accident Act, Indian Succession Act, Workmen Compensation Act, where the representative of plaintiff can represent him and can ask his right. Now the second situation, where the defendant died against whom you have filed the case of law of tort and that person died. So for example, if Ram had committed Ram has committed tort against Geeta, and Geeta filed a case against Ram, but Ram died. So in that case, Geeta cannot get relief because Ram died. So here, because of the personal tortious liability, Geeta cannot take compensation from the court because the person who has committed the tort, he is no more. This is the case of Prushti versus Mohanty. In this case, High Court of Orissa held that when there is a personal liability is there, then not even legal representative or the liability of the tort or any fraud committed by any person also dies with him. So in this case, some amount was received by defendant in way of misrepresentation of fact. So when he died, so court says that that amount is personal, is something personal and could not be extended to his legal representative. So when he dies, his rights also and liabilities also dies with him. As we discussed earlier, same in the position of defendant, we have the act, the Legal Representative Suit 1985, where the legal representative of defendant may be against whom you can file a suit because you can get compensation from them too, because they are legal representative of that died person, or so you can ask your right from his legal representative. So now if Ram died, you can ask the same compensation from his legal representative. Apart from that, we have several acts, as I said before: Fatal Accident Act, Indian Succession Act, Workmen Compensation Act, where the defendants legal representative can present in the court of law. Second situation, by waiver. Now by waiver means when you waive your right, when you let go of your right. When it happens to you, for example, some person has committed tort against you, but you have a remedy available in two acts. For example, tort and IPC are more or somewhere they are similar in certain sections. For example, defamation is defined in IPC 2 and also in torts 2, like misrepresentation, then you have mistake, mischief, assault, battery. They are also available in torts and IPC. So if I have available options in two acts, then I waive the right to file a case in tort and I choose IPC, then that means I am waiving the right to file tortious liability. So here I cannot file a case under tortious liability because I choose or adopt IPC for filing my suit. So here I have filed criminal case rather than civil wrong case. So when one person choose one remedy when he has two options, then he waive the one right. That means I am waiving my right to file a case under the tortious liability and choosing to file a case in IPC. That is called waiver. When you are waiving your right to file a case under any of the available options. So this doctrine puts some guidelines, like the person has to choose one remedy. That means I have to choose one remedy. I cannot go in the court by filing civil court torts also and a criminal action also. I have to waive my one thing. So that is called waiver. Now waiver can be of two types, implied and express. In express, you go to the court and say it expressly by words that I am not choosing tort but I am choosing IPC, or either I am choosing torts rather than IPC, where you say it by verbally in your court. Secondly is implied, where you are not saying anything in the court but you are just simply pick one act, that is IPC, for filing your suit in the court. That means impliedly you are saying that I am waiving my liability on the torts act. So I am not filing my case in the torts but I am filing my case in the criminal act. So it is called implied waiver. Next is accord and satisfaction. So when the person against whom the tort has been committed and that person is accept something in way of satisfaction from that person who has committed the tort. For example, I am in an accident and I got some injuries. I filed case against tortious liability against Mr. B, but Mr. B offered me around 50,000 rupees for my injury and I agreed to that. So here I agreed to get satisfaction and accord from that person. So I cannot file case against him on the tortious liability. So here by getting certain satisfactory amount from the other party, I just extinguish my right to file action against tort. So that is called accord and satisfaction. And the next is release. Release means when the person against whom tort has been committed, that person by his own will release that person. Okay, I don't want to file a case against you. So here you release that person, also release you from your your right to file an action against that person. So here by choice, if any person without any undue influence or with free consent, if that person agrees to release any person, that means he is extinguish his right to file a case against the court of law under tortious liability. So release simply means when you release that person from his liability and you are also waiving your right. Next is acquiescence. Here, because of such a situation, the plaintiff could not able to go to the court or does not have means to file a case, then he is automatically release his right to file or extinguish his right to file a case in the tort. For example, if against me someone has committed tort, but I don't have time to go to the court, or I don't have money to file a case against that person, or I just I cannot file the case on time, then I extinguish my right to file a case in the court of law against tortious liability. So if in prescribed time limit or because of such a situation I cannot file a case, then of course I automatically extinguish my right to file a case in the law under the tortious liability in the court of law. Next is judgment. Once you get remedy from the court of law, you cannot file against that case in the same court. for getting another remedy. So it is a called principle of res judicata. Once that court hear your matter and it disposed your matter and give you judgment and give you some remedy, then again you cannot file the case in that court particularly again for getting remedy. So once you get remedy, that is done from you. Now you cannot file further in that same court for your right. So here you again, because by getting a remedy you extinguish your right to file a case against that person. Or supposedly you find that after remedy that you have you just missed to file another matter which is related to same case. Again you cannot file the case because you have, once you get remedy, you cannot file that case against in that court. And last is Limitation Act. So you know Limitation Act, there is their defined time to file a case in the court of law. So if I could not file my case on time, I just missed opportunity to file a case, and after 3 years I cannot file my case. So here there is a time being framed for minimum 3 years to file your case, and if I missed the chance or could not able to get time to file my case, I automatically extinguish my right to file a case under the tortious liability. So today we have discussed about the extinguishment of tortious liabilities, where you automatically, or by certain ways, you extinguish your right to file a case in the court of law. Thank you so much.